This is the official page of Boto. If you want to navigate it, you navigate it at your own time. Uh, Basically, as the first few lines says, I don't have a PPT or presentation or anything here. We are just going to straight away dive into using Boto. Boto is an AWS SDK for Python, and Amazon has started contributing it extensively. And one small catch here is there are sometimes I've seen some capabilities are difficult to implement in Boto. To put it rightly, let us say that CloudFormation supports all the services and all the features that are possible in AWS because CloudFormation is a service from Amazon itself. So whatever you can do in the console, you can most probably do it in CloudFormation, most probably. But when it comes to Boto, since it's an open source third party outside control of Amazon, they are slow in providing access or API level access to all the resources and implementing certain automation things are little difficult. But this should not stop us from learning Boto3 because almost the basic activities or low and medium range of activities is completely automated. The sample codes are available, very simple codes are available, and we can go ahead and start using them anytime. But when you're trying to talk about edge cases, which is very few percentage of the use cases, then you need to spend more time understanding Boto, customizing Boto, and all those kind of things. Let us go ahead and see how to use Boto. For using Boto, as I said, we need a server to run the command from. What I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to use an EC2 instance and install the Boto code or Boto line binaries or languages in the EC2 and use that as a server to launch other services. Clear? So now we have set up a server in EC2. We have connected to it using the keys. So far we are all good. I'm just jumping to root so that we can install few more binaries. I am going to go to my favorite repository to find out how to install Boto3. I have just listed out the commands in Amazon. Also those commands are there, but I just collected all the commands in one place so I don't have to search it. I'll just paste you the link for the place as well. I mean, it is all in my repository, just in different locations. If you go to my AWS demos repository and go to how to section, there is an how to section. There are a lot of different how to options that are there. We will choose the one which says install Boto or configure Boto, something like that. It will be there. You see here AWS CLI. I'm going to use that. This actually sets up with the Boto also. Blah blah blah. All I'm going to do is blindly just going to copy paste because I have done this so many times, and most of the times I find this code working. So I'm just going to copy paste blindly into my server. And all this happens in my remote server, by the way. It is not happening in my local laptop or desktop. This is to my remote EC2 instance. Next is setting. If any Linux guys are there, they will know that I'm setting the path to my recently installed binaries. So verify the installation of pip. That is, pip was the command that we installed. If pip gives me a version number, that means that we have installed successfully. You can see here pip version 9.0.1 is installed here, and we can go ahead and install the other remaining commands. So after verifying, if it didn't work, only you need to run these things. So I'm skipping this because I got a version number 9.0. Blah blah. So next, installing AWS CLI. And you can see here, since it is from the cloud, it is not impacted by my browser speed or my internet connection. Automatically Amazon picks up the necessary binaries and runs through the commands like a knife through butter. And if I type AWS ---- version, that is the last command that we installed, and if you are able to get a version, That means that AWS CLI is installed. So finally the command to install Boto is pip install Boto3. So this is the command which might not be there on the screen. Just putting it here and putting it here also, and it is installed. So I'm going to pause here for a moment. You can see here the command AWS S3LS, which is supposed to list all the buckets in my account, is not able to do that because it is not configured to use my account credentials. So I need to configure AWS to connect to my account. And one of the ways to do that is very simple. You just type AWS space configure and press enter. It will ask you for your access key and secure key and your default region. So we need to provide this information so that it can connect with your account. So let us go and fetch that information from the account. So update my access key first, then update my secure key next, and then it is asking me for my region. I'm going to use my favorite region, AP South -1, and then leave the default as none and press enter. So we have done configuring our S3 or AWS CLI to work with my account. So if I go ahead and do something like AWS S3 LS, that is in other words, list all the buckets in my account, it should be able to do that. So you can see the output previously, it said unable to look at credentials, blah, blah, blah things. And now once you give this information, it is able to connect to my account and do some processes. So now we are got our account ready to run two things. One is we can use AWS CLI also, so that the CLI will interact with our account, and Boto has the ability to pick up the profile, the user IDs, AWS credentials. So automatically the credentials for my AWS account can be picked up by Boto. So Boto, whenever we are creating some scripts or whenever we are doing some activities using Boto, it should work automatically. So that is the installation part of AWS CLI and Boto3. Let us go ahead and learn some things about Boto3, what it can do, what it cannot do. I have created I just quickly wrote this. I in fact copied from the internet and reused it. I'm pasting it in your chat window. Where are you guys? So again, this is also in my GitHub only, all public. You can go and browse it and find out, but quick reference I'm given it here. A little bit of Python class now. So the first thing that we do in Boto, as I told you, is to import the binary. So let us go into a Python shell. And now I am inside a Python shell, and first thing I'm going to do is import Boto3, and then I'm going to create a client which is called IAM equal to Boto3.client, in colon I have to do IAM. So in other words, instead of copy pasting, I just retype the command. You can do whatever you want, but that's me. I'm not going to say how you want to do it. Let me resize the screen so that it is both the screens are visible. Okay, this is what great. I'm sorry for all this nonsense. So this is the first command, IAM equal to Boto3. We have just created a client, and using this client name, I am going to create a user ID. Before creating a user ID, let us go to my S3 IAM account and see what are the current user IDs and see whether the new user ID is going to reflect there. Go to my account and go to IAM. If there are any extraneous user IDs, let us delete that. So we'll keep it clean and find out whether my new user IDs are getting created properly and getting changes. You can see now. It is loading. As you can see, there are two users. I'm just going to delete the other Valaxy demo user which was created yesterday. I'm going to click on delete, and it is trying to find out what was the last activity, what I did, and it is asking me, do you want to really delete it? All those blah 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 things. I'm just going to say yes, delete it. I don't need that guy. He's a bad guy. Okay, now Let us go ahead and do the remaining copy paste. It says IAM create user. Nothing, but I'm just storing the value that is output from the command in a response. It is a JSON command, so we need to print it JSON properly. IAM dot create dot user. Create user is the command. Client dot create user, and then username equal to, I'm going to use the same name that is given there because we are going to change the username later down. Demo hyphen user blah, or just to say okay, let it leave it as it is. It is gone to the server now. It has communicated with my account and it has created that user ID and stored that response in that response field. So I'm going to do print response. So let us see what is the response Amazon gave me when we interacted that command. It gives me a big JSON. Let me do, if I say bprint, this is a ignore this. Just try. Let me try this bprint response to see if it is printing properly. Did I make a spelling mistake? Okay, pprint requires it in a proper format. I have an indentation problem. Okay, leave it. I don't want to confuse you guys. Let me just clear the screen. What we need to know, understand here is one important field which will say the username this, and then it was the created date this, and the response metadata. This is very, very important. And you can see the HTTP as status code is 200. In other words, the response was completed without success, without any errors. And here is the ARN number for my user ID. So if I do something like response dot response, this is a typical Python way of accessing a dictionary. If I want to reuse the response for in my subsequent commands, ARN is the field, right? Did I write it correct? One second, guys. Yeah, it is a dictionary and I'm accessing the dictionary's values. Okay, it must be under this. Okay, I understand why it was a mistake on my side, not your problem. And user, it has multiple fields, and let us check whether this will work. To make it simplify, what I did was from the response that Amazon gave me, I'm able to quickly identify what is the ARN ID for my account. And subsequently, if you're creating any resource, say for example, I'm creating an S3 bucket, and for that S3 bucket, I want to give access for this particular user, I will use this ARN ID to give access to that user. So this is how this field gets importance. So in Amazon, you don't use the user ID usually. You use the ARN number whenever you want to provide the user access. I assume that you guys know that already. So enough of harping about it, and go to our IAM account and see the account has been created. Let me hit refresh. Crossing fingers. You can see here it has already been created here. That is, it was created just now. Last activity is none, and groups is also none. So this is the most simplest thing that you can do with Boto. Let us go ahead and run some more commands from Boto. So we did IAM and created a user ID. Let me list all the user IDs in my account. As of now, you can see there are 2 user IDs. To add something more, let us go ahead and replicate our command again. Remember, this is the command we used for creating an account. So let me just remove this. And then I'm just going to create one more end, and I'm just going to say it is inside brackets, it won't expand. Okay, 0 1. Let me just use one more guy here as 0 0. Should create that. It should create now. So we have created a couple of more user IDs, and when we are doing list command, so that we will have at least a 4 or 5 to list, so that it will work in a nice way. So just go ahead, and I'm going to copy paste the list command that is in my GitHub. I'm just going to quickly paste it here, and it should work by default. And since it is in JSON, it might be a little difficult for you people to read it. So what we need to do is, I mean, this is a programmatic access, by the way. I cannot make it easier or completely for you guys. So what usually happens is people try to go ahead and find out what is a group, what are the user IDs are there, and try to do subsequent processing. All these things are consumed for programmatic analysis. It is not for human readability. So the output that is given by Amazon is all for programmatic consumption. So it will be like this. I cannot simplify it so that it can be easy for a human to consume. You can copy paste it and do a lot of things, but basically there is not much we can do about it. What I can do is probably response for I in response. Let me just try a command here. I'm not promising anything. Let us, what is that? It is in paginator. Okay, let us do the same command then. Don't break out of it. How many of you are very familiar with the programming?
The question you should be asking us, Kumar. I am. Not much, Kumar. We're undergrads, actually.
I'm familiar with programming.
Users, right? Users. It says under users you have a lot of username. Where is this bracket is ending? Okay, I'm just trying to make it easy so that we can read properly what has happened here. I'm just going to hope that this works. It is the same command we did last time, just that the users field has been added. Oh, capital N, right? It is capital N here. Okay. See, that is why if you do ad hoc programming, you need to be clear, because there is no troubleshooting or additional steps that is available. Not working.
Is this still in the Python?
Yes, I am still in Python. I got a response of 4 usernames. If you can see here, all the usernames are listed here under this list file. Under users, you have username which says trainer admin, and the next username is here, which says Valaxy demo user. And then the next username comes here, I think, which says Valaxy demo user 00, and 01 is here. So it is in a Python dictionary. The response is in a Python dictionary, and there are in the dictionary there are 2 main fields, and that main field is one is user, next one is the metadata. Somewhere if I scroll down, it will have the metadata, the response metadata. So there are 2 parameters.
Hey Kumar, I have a question.
Yeah.
Hello?
So the next part that we are going to see now is updating a user ID. So nothing but let us say we are taking this particular user and say that we don't want a demo name, and we just want to have some other name here, very friendly name. Or we just go ahead and do something like this: IAM update user, the old username and the new username, and press enter. If you go back to the console and refresh, it should take up. Let's just go there and go to the console and check it out. This is my IAM account. It is still not refreshed. You can see here there are 3 user IDs with the demo. Let me go ahead and hit refresh. One of the user IDs should have a name change by now already. You can see here this user is missing the demo part of it, and automatically changes In other words, we are interacting with the account in a programmatic way. We are not logging into the console, and we decide everything in our console, in our bash program, our Python program, and then delete it, and then update the account itself. So finally, let me just go ahead and clean up my account. So for cleaning up, let me just make it easier so that we can edit it again and again. And then blah blah blah. Okay. So what are the different user IDs are there? This is the one, and then there is one more like this, correct? Come on guys, tell me, I don't remember everything. Valaxy demo user 00 and then 01. Right or not? You guys following me, or did I lose you completely? Okay, so we delete these two guys, and I'm just going to copy paste all of them with an enter character here and into my terminal. Let me just clear my screen and paste all three. You see that Amazon has already taken into effect all the three commands, and you see the status code of all the three commands is 200. That means that it has been completed successfully and all actions have taken place. If I go to my account and hit refresh, and all the three accounts is being deleted. Now let us take a little bit of more complicated example. Not complicated, little bit additional activities. I'm just going to go back to my GitHub article now. Getting back to flow logs, typically in a flow logs, what you do is you can monitor your at a VPC level, you can monitor at a subnet level, you can monitor at an IP or an interface level. There are multiple levels of monitoring. For example, let us say you are monitoring at a VPC level. That means that you are getting all the data about all the interfaces. You might have some thousand servers, and all the data that is passing through all the IP addresses for those thousand servers you will be recording somewhere. That is not going to be a very efficient troubleshooting. Say if your customer says that my RDS server is not getting connected and my RDS is here inside this VPC subnets, then I'm going to monitor traffic for those particular subnets only. And if you didn't remember, you will create a RDS subnet group while you're creating an RDS. So you restrict the monitoring to an IP address, or you restrict the monitoring to a VPC level or a subnet level, depending upon at what level you want to troubleshoot. So, and once you restricted that, then you create a log group where all your logs are going to be created or stored. This is here, that is what we are doing here. Once you created the log group, you need to assign some permissions, and you need to create a role to assign that permissions. So that is what is happening here, creating a trust policy. And I'm giving an action of saying assume that role when you're writing to that log group, and attaching some permissions. So we created the permissions file, and I'm attaching it here, creating the policy, attaching the policy. And finally, this is the most easiest of commands of all the document, I guess. It just shows 4 lines, but creating this log group, creating that permission, creating that VPC only takes another 20-30 lines of code. So VPC flow logs creation itself is only this 10 lines. And to generate some traffic, what I'm doing is I'm just going to create another web server, and then I'm doing some ping and all those nonsense. And if I remember correctly, usually VPC flow logs doesn't show immediately. It takes some time to reflect in the account or in the log groups. And VPC flow log output typically looks like that in the console. I just copy pasted it and formatted it for readability. And typically your user ID or blah 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 things. Anyway, I'm not taking a VPC flow logs class. I'm going to take an automation class. I'm just going to click ahead and copy paste it in my Python terminal now. I'm just going to copy this entire file, and then I'm going to go to my terminal now, exit out of this screen. I'm in the putty or CLI in my server. I'm going to exit it, clear my screen, go to slash, okay, I'm in temp, I'm just going to what is there, nothing is there. Okay, get pip. Okay, I'm just going to create one more file saying create vpc Valaxy demo.py. Press enter, paste that file that we copied from the internet, just copy paste it and then press enter and control T. So we have created the script online. Now if I do one more here, it should have all the data. Theoretically it should work error free, but anyway, before running it, I want to go to my VPC console and show that there are, as of now, see this is the IP address that we are going to create, 10.244. Slash, and you can see here the tagging that should be created is this one, that is Mystic Demo Flow Logs. This is the tagging that should be created, and there might be an error that might be shown in Flow Logs key, but anyway, let us run that and see how it happens. Yeah, I have seen quite often creation of a key breaks my script, but let us see. Let me go to the console, and console I'm going to go to VPC. I'm just keeping things ready so that once we run the script we can come back here and see the outputs. Okay, there are two VPCs as of now. One is the default VPC and another one is, I don't know when I created this 10.1. I think there is one server running on it, but let me not disturb that as of now. So remember that we are going to create a new VPC under the 10.244 IP address. So here you see here, just showing the command or the script file. We are going to create something in 10.244. So let's go ahead and run it. All I have to do is, let me just check whether execute permissions are there. I'm not sure whether it will work, but let me try it. Python and then press enter. Oh, great. I think I have copied the output of that. When I copied it from the screen, I think I copied everything, including this output, this nonsense. Instead of copying the script alone, I copied it a lot more than see here, the sample output. I copied everything. My bad, guys. Not your fault. Let me just copy only the script and let me recreate that file. I just recreated the file. It should in theory work. Now let us just go ahead and run it. Okay, it is doing some lot of processing. Either it will get completed without any errors by throwing out my key name on my screen, or it will throw an error where the key happens. Okay, key is successfully created. Okay, it will refresh for you guys also, and it will complete the creation of a new web server, and it might do some ping test and all those things. Awesome. So you can see here I am back at prompt. Let us go back to my VPC's console and let me refresh the screen. I'm just going to wait for it to guys to refresh. Let me hit refresh. I should see a tag here. If it is not there, I'm just going to click on this one. This is the 10.244.00, and if I click on tags, you can see here, this is the one I showed you, tags will be created. But interesting thing is happening here. Under the tags, you have the flow logs. I'm going to click on flow logs here, and as you can see here, there is a flow logs that is created, and the necessary permissions all has been given here. And if I go to my EC2 console, there should be a server running already. Let us next go to the log group. Let us confirm whether my EC2 instance was also created. I'm in Virginia region, guys. So that is, see here the VPC. I'm going to the VPC dashboard again. If you're seeing my screen, that was in Mumbai. Yeah, my VPC is in Mumbai. And when I went to EC2, I suddenly saw 0 instances and surprised that my script did not throw an error. I'm having at 0 instances, but the reason is I'm in a different region. Let me just head back to Mumbai. So easy, right? Online, you just click on a button, you move from coast to coast or across the world. So there are two running instances. One is the place where I am running my Boto code and everything. See the Boto server, demo server that I created. And there is one more server, my script just now created. And if you, to confirm that, if you select that server and then if we check the confirm the tags of that server, it should be, oh, it is not reflecting. I'm surprised. This is the server that we just now created for doing the VPC testing, that is flow log. See here, it uses the flow logs key, the key name that we trained. And in fact, the IP address, the private IP address should confirm that it is on the 244 subnet. You can see here that server is running, it is on the 244 subnet. And if I go to my script once more and check what I put in the user data field, if I set up a web server, it should be giving me something like welcome to flow logs, blah blah blah. As you can see here, it is still not refreshed. I think it will refresh anytime. You can see here I just created a web server and then I created a flow logs. So let us try to give you that IP to that guy, you guys also. So let us, you guys also can check and let me know whether you are able to see that. Let me go ahead and put it myself. Oh, it is still loading, I think. I don't know whether the checks have been completed. All the checks have completed. I'm not sure. I'm surprised. My script did not give an output and I'm not able to connect. Okay, what security group are we in? The next question that we need to ask. It is saying public security group. Let me click on public security group and see whether port 80 traffic is open. It is open. It should work then in that case. Anyway, let me, only thing I can do is I can log into the server and try to find out why that command or that probably the HTTP server is not uh, started properly. Before that, I'm just going to copy this. This key is important to log into that server. So let us copy that. Cat temp.key. I believe you guys must be familiar with this when you're using a putty key from PEM key to PPK when you are converting that, correct? Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
What is the public IP address? Where can we find it? No. Okay, log into root, system, CTL, status, HTTPD. Okay, you can see here the service is not running. This is one of the best places I can tell you guys where I like this terminal, MOBA X term. It highlights certain things automatically. For example, warning is in yellow color and then some IP addresses are in different color. So I'm going to start the service and show you the color difference now. System, CTL, start, HTTPD. And it says that it is failed to load. I'm going to just check whether it is installed properly. If I do -y, it will not give me even a prompt for installing. It will automatically install. But if it is asking me yes, no answer, that means that that installation did not happen. for some reason that part of my script has not completed, guys. So that is the reason we are not seeing anything. So automatically it should have started. Let me check the status, and the service is still disabled, or a vendor is disabled. So let us go ahead and start it. And when you start it and put a status here, automatically this terminal will highlight this particular segment where it says active and running. This part, it's easy for me to look at all the output and find out the most important things straight away. Oh, automatically I just went to the browser without even doing anything. Chrome has kept on refreshing, and automatically it has refreshed through the page. But anyway, this is not the demo that I wanted to show. The demo that I originally wanted to show is VPC flow logs, all the log groups, necessary permission, and everything is set up. The VPC ID, setting up the server, setting up the permissions. Let me just go ahead and click on this one. It should take me to the CloudWatch logs group. And if you guys were hitting something, my VPC must have got it. My server was not responding, and if Amazon has picked up the traffic, it might show up here. If you are waiting for some more time, we can see that as well. So it is refreshing. My log group is refreshing and trying to find out blah blah blah. Surprisingly, my log group is not showing anything. Where are my logs, log groups? Just 1 second. It says log groups is here, and okay, streams for log groups. Okay, as of now there are no streams. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Let me just step back one level. So we are in CloudWatch. Under CloudWatch we have log groups, and the current log groups that we set up is this one, the third one, mystique-demo-05 flow logs. If I go back to my code again, I just scroll up to the top where I created. Remember, this is the tagging that I use for all of those things. At the beginning, we talked about the global variables, and this is the tagging we create. And last but one, as you can see, the log group name, mystique-005 blah blah, and that is what I'm showing you in the CloudWatch log group. This is the one it has created, and if I click on that, as of now there are no events. That means that Amazon is still capturing the events, and it might take 5-10 minutes or something like that to reflect it. So if you're still talking at that time, we can show that. Meanwhile, let me just go to some other log group and see if it is visible. I'm just opening another one, which is my previous account or previous log group configuration. As you can see the date here, this is on May 4th, I think, 4th of May, something like that. If I click, this is for this particular interface, and if I click on that, it will show a lot of events. This is the same output that we saw in the GitHub article also. Okay, enough of rambling. The whole important thing that you need to take here is we used a Python script to set up flow logs, necessary log groups, and necessary permissions, and all those things worked perfectly and flawlessly when we are running the script, including creating keys, SSH keys. It checked for whether the flow logs key is there in my account, and if it is not there, it created that key and outputted the private key so that I can use it for connecting it to the instance if there is an issue like we had. So those are the important things that you need to remember and understand, that when you're automating an environment, when provisioning an environment, you can completely automate it using AWS Python using Boto.